evening, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon to everyone. So we have been listening so far, like how Satish and Sharath has created this community, Agile community, great community, and how yoga has talked about knowledge product to share the knowledge and about MVP. So now let's. This is a virtual session. Um, let's do a magic. So let's make it physical. It's a virtual session, but let's make it physical. So how can we make it? Any ideas?
One way is to enable the videos so that at least we can see each other. That's one way. Of course, we can't touch each other, but we can see by turning on the video. That's one way.
Yeah, that's one way. And another easy way I'll share now. So let's all give a big hand. Let's all clap. Real clap by everyone. So this way we can make real for ourselves. And one more thing is it's going to help us. Like we will have all nerve endings here. So it will create blood circulation and at the same time good heart functioning, and it's going to help our health. Basically, always we should be concerned about ourselves also. So this is one of the very good mechanism, but rarely we use it. So thank you everyone. So I'll share my screen. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. Is my presentation visible?
Yes.
Yes,
Prathibha.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. So far we have been having heavy sessions, not heavy session, but a really very interesting session about the product. But this will be very lightweight, to be frank, very lightweight and very easygoing. Like Scrum, you know, it is a lightweight framework. So the topic also I picked such way. So you will come to know by end of this session what is Scrum and Empiricism. Simple meanings you will understand about Scrum and Empiricism. So this is the agenda. Introduction, my introduction, what is Scrum, different statistics, and what is empiricism, and we'll talk about Scrum pillars. So to talk about me, my introduction, I am an Agile evangelist. I am an Agile coach. So I'll talk like how I became an Agile coach. There are two motivations, obviously like everyone. Um, Personal motivation and professional motivation to become an Agile coach. So all of you know, right? Agile means nothing but being nimble, being flexible, being adaptable. So similarly, I am a person who is adaptable, flexible, very easygoing type of person. So the thing is, when I got married, like my spouse and me, if we consider, I always used to tell my spouse that you are coming from military background, and he always used to tell I am coming from Air Force because I am easygoing on the fly. Like I never plan anything, I do everything on the fly. I get adapted and I execute the things, whatever personal or anything. I take things easily and do that. So in a way, I'm agile. And my husband, he is always like he plans everything beforehand. Everything is, he was in US for some time, so he's very organized, very planned. So everything is planned for him. That's why I keep telling you are coming from military. So maybe you can recollect one of the movie like Saif Ali Khan's movie. In that uh, he will be telling his would be, I think you are going to marry some timetable. Every time he'll be telling timetable, timetable. Can you recollect that movie name? I think Amir Khan is there, Saif Ali Khan, and the other hero's name I cannot remember. So my initial is, yeah.
Dil Chahta Hai.
Yeah, dil chahta hai. So my initial days were like that only. Did I marry some timetable? So everything has to be planned and also. Okay, so that's how I have my personal motivation towards being flexible and adaptable. I'm from Air Force or on the fly. My definition of time is on the fly or adapting and getting uh, things done. So, coach, Agile is what I have been talking. So, coach, that is from professional motivation. So, based on my professional experience background, a coach means most of the times have seen this like when wherever we go, even in professional context, coach means people don't have good understanding or they get confused as or else they'll be thinking something like magic or something like that. Coach is nothing but someone who helps others. Basically, they don't think about themselves, but they help others. Basically, they will create the winners. Like even if you see in sports, they create the winners. Even in Agile, if you see, they will create the winning teams. So in my professional context, I have been coached in my experience and I have been mentored. Initially, when I used to connect with my mentors or coaches, I used to think I didn't get anything out of this session. Just I used to attend, but really it didn't help me. But over a period of time, not even immediately 1 month or 2 months, over a period of time, 3 years or like that, I realized, okay, this has helped me. They have basically coached me and it has helped me in my experience in my career. So that way I was inspired. So that's how I became an agile coach, personal motivation plus professional motivation. And to talk about me, I'm from Hyderabad, Telangana. I am a Hyderabadi, like many of you maybe. Overall, I have 16 years of experience. I'll go to next slide. Okay. So as an agile coach, I am a Scrum coach, Lean coach, Safe coach, Agile coach. I've been working with different frameworks, different transformations all through my career. I've worked with multiple clients like US, UK, Japan. As part of my career, I started my career in an Indian Space Research Organization. So I have like national level exposure and global level exposure to some extent. Both have been traveling, and so I have both sorts of experience. So I have done my master's from Usmania University, and I have done my MBA from IIM Calcutta. I am a safe program consultant and certified agile coach. Apart from that, I like volunteering. So I am volunteer in Agile Network India, and I am one of the volunteering Anita Borg from Hyderabad chapter. Um, so thank you to SS Agile Gurus, Sharat and Satish. Thank you. Thank you to be a part of this group. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. So what is Scrum? Like what comes? Because when I was not into Agile, I never used to understand what is Agile and I never used to understand the term Scrum. So what comes to your mind? Like what is Scrum? Okay.
Small cycles.
Yes.
Framework. It's a framework to implement Agile.
Yes. Yeah.
To me, I always say that Scrum is a way of life. That is how I describe Scrum. Because in everything that we do, we basically do Scrum.
Yes. So
It's basically a framework that involves the development or a life cycle of a product. The framework that we might follow or a methodology that we might follow to develop a product.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for sharing your views of Scrum. There is a definition for Scrum, but I'll just share my view, simple view. Okay. Scrum is nothing but a teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more. So Scrum is nothing but it creates the teamwork basically. That is the main mechanism of Scrum. Scrum is a framework, it is a mindset, and it has fast learning cycles and all. But at the end of, if we see, in my view, it is teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more. So Scrum is a framework or a mindset, a framework which creates collaboration. Like basically in the team, if we see, it keeps everyone empowered. If you see matured Scrum teams, it will keep team members, everyone will be always enthusiastic and they will be having the energy, right set of energy and empowered basically. And if you see the mechanism which Scrum has, it always creates collaboration. And in Scrum teams, team members help each other. So that is how like together everyone we can achieve more. So it is a mechanism in which one person, the team members help each other. In my overall 16 plus years of experience, I have been part of different teams. But when I was in Scrum team, I realized how we can learn from others, how we can collaborate, and it was very nice experience. So end of the day, Scrum teams like together with collaboration and with the team spirit, they create the products. They um, join the different pieces of the product and they deliver the product. So this is a simple way we can visualize Scrum. So this is the mechanism which creates teams and which builds teams and which creates high performance teams, and in end of the day it's creating many products. Okay, so we understood Scrum. What is Scrum? So now we'll see how Scrum has been adopted. This is some data. It's not exact data. I have taken it from Google, but I wanted to tell like how Scrum has been adopted. So if we see the statistics of Scrum compared to different frameworks, Scrum is widely adopted, like almost 37% it is adopted. It is compared to all other frameworks, if we see, Scrum is widely adopted, highly and widely adopted, 37%. If we see hybrid frameworks, I think everyone have come across different hybrid frameworks, and we all work in different hybrid frameworks. That is 35%. So almost it is equivalent to the hybrid frameworks. If we see, because industry wide, this area will be more because many companies, many with previous working styles, they adopt many hybrid frameworks. So if we see, Scrum is having almost same chunk of adoption like hybrid frameworks. And Kanban is 11%, Lean is 11%, and Scrumban nowadays, Scrumban is picking, so it is 5%. So this is the Scrum adoption statistics. So means I think we all hear the word Agile and Scrum. It is very common word now, but to understand why Scrum is very common, because of its efficiency, its success rate, and it's very easy. Like it is very lightweight framework. Because of that, it is almost adopted industry wide. So what industries are using Scrum? We think that Scrum and Agile are only for IT and software development, but Scrum is adopted in many industries. It's not only to software development. It is in almost all the domains like financial services, food and beverage, medical devices, legal, hospitality, customer, construction, travel, education, all the domains. I am coming from aerospace domain and manufacturing and telecom domain. So there also I have seen. So it is adopted in almost any sort of domain. So which companies are using Scrum? If we see, if we want to understand which companies are using Scrum, Google, Bank of Ireland, Apple, Amazon, IBM, Facebook. If we think any company, that company is always already using Scrum. And anywhere, any company, you should find one or two teams, minimum one or two Scrum teams. it will be complete Scrum or any stage of Scrum. So if you see, there are many companies which are been adopting Scrum, and we are already using the products which are output of Scrum. Like currently I'm presenting in Google Chrome, and so Google we are using, and banking, like most of us are doing in net banking and everything, so we are using already. So anything like anywhere if you see, we are already like using the output from Scrum teams. So far we have been talking about Scrum. Now we'll try to understand what is empiricism. So empiricism is in Scrum is an approach whereby the team continuously learns and improves from mistakes. So they say, right, fail fast and succeed sooner. So like empiricism is in Scrum, it talks about continuously learning and improving from mistakes. I am also a continuous learner. So like I see everything in terms of learning basically. So even if you see in Scrum, there are multiple ceremonies, daily stand up and until retrospective. In any ceremony, if we see, there is a mechanism for learning. So we get to learn. So that way, if we see, empiricism is nothing but team continuously learning. So in a team, if we see, team member wherever they are starting in Scrum team, their performance increases, like because they are learning in every ceremony and they are learning from the team members. In Scrum, empiricism means then the team makes decisions and changes based on what the customer is experiencing. So if we see, like end of the day, everything is customer first. So our adaptation and our learning will be in direction to customer requirement. So if we see, like we understood so far that Scrum is nothing but learning and adaptation. So we have understood the different ceremonies, or just what are the ceremonies. Scrum is based on 3 pillars: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So by creating the transparency, without transparency, there is no learning. Basically, by creating the transparent mechanism within the teams, it's helping in learning. And by participating in daily stand-up and by participating in sprint review, sprint planning, and retrospective, everywhere we have mechanism to communicate and learn and create that inspection. Like we get to think like why this is this way and this. Okay, so transparent mechanism, creating a mechanism for inspection and learning, like whatever like someone was telling, no, like we hesitate to talk, but in Scrum teams we get to talk. We are supposed to talk, like even in the daily stand up, any point of time if you see, we get to talk and we are supposed to talk, and it is creating like transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So end of the day, because of the transparent system, we inspect from whatever the things are going on and we adapt, like we adapt to the customer requirement. So uh, in my definition, Scrum and empiricism is nothing but learning and adaptability with transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So if we see, like nothing but it is learning cycles. Scrum is learning cycles with feedback loops, because of which we get the best output we can see. So that is the thing I wanted to share. So yeah, if you have any questions, we can discuss. And this is the QR code which Sharath has shared. Sharath and Satish has shared. You can scan it and give the feedback. And so now the forum is open for questions. We can discuss on the questions.
Yeah, thanks, Prathibha, for the great session. Open to audience. Anyone has any questions that they want to ask?
Sorry, I
You are
missed
on
you.
mute. Please unmute yourself and move forward. Sorry,
Yeah.
Prathibha.
Yeah, this is Shubha. Pratibha, I missed a few minutes of the session due to network issue. I'm just wondering how is it different from a retro? Because even in retro, we do the same thing, right?
Yeah, retro is one of the ceremony within Scrum.
How is empiricism different from retro?
Empiricism is nothing but the base, like base for Scrum. Like Scrum is built upon empiricism. Empiricism is nothing but, like I was telling, it's a mechanism of continuous learning and improving from our mistakes. So Scrum is based on that. This image talks about that only, doing the things, inspecting and learning from mistakes and adapting. So closing the feedback loops. This is team level events and this is retrospective. So all together, it is closing the loops.
So, Prathibha, let me add few more points to that.
Sure, Sharad.
See, with respect to retrospective, right? What we do in retrospective usually, we try to understand what went well in the last sprint, right? What did not go well, and any improvement areas, right? So that is where team members need to be transparent with respect to what they have done, better in that sprint, right? What are the pitfalls or the blockers that are stopping them from doing great things, and any action items. So people are transparent people need to be transparent with respect to their engagement in those sprint, right? And they inspect in the retrospective, right? What went well, what did not go well, any improvement areas. That is nothing but inspection of what they have done in the past, right? And adapt to the new situations or new areas and new action items. Say, for example, out of that retrospective, you got some action item. Say, for example, the application has a lot of technical debt. Why can't we address that technical debt in a phased way? Or we got some infra issues where the infra team is not supporting. Can we inform them in advance as per their SLA so that our issues will get resolved on time, right? So these are the kind of action items that you get where you need to get adapt to those situations, right? Plan it accordingly and ensure that you are not making those kind of mistakes or those kind of issues are fixed for the future, right? That's how you can make a better retrospective, right? So that is all about inducing that TIA concept, transparency, inspect, and adapt concept into the retrospective. Does it help you?
Yes, Sharad. I have one question addition to that. So basically, we always do a retro after every sprint, and somehow we have a list of things to be the list of improvement points for the next release. But generally that doesn't happen. I mean, we everybody in the Scrum team want to adopt the new change or we want to improve. But is there a framework or something which will ensure that we improve, learn and improve continuously? Hope you got my question.
It happens. It depends. Like from team to team, things vary, and from company to company, things vary. So generally, Scrum Master they facilitate the retrospective, and they create, like you were telling, all improvement items. As I said, it depends from team to team. Things may vary, but where that retrospective is being held effectively and the output, like after discussing all the improvements we are implementing, that is definitely going to create the change. And retrospective is nothing but, if without retrospective, Scrum is not that effective. So retrospective is the one which is closing the feedback loop and creating that improvements. Depends from team to team, Shubha.
So to add to her point, yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, so to adding to Prathibha's point, so basically the action items, we need to make sure that those are quantifiable. So if we can measure those action points or the implementation points, we have this sprint zero. Right before the work starts, there is a zero or a gray week that we call, and we try to cover all those action points in that particular week or a particular sprint. And that adds to every, if there is something that went wrong from the product owners, then we add that point to the product owner, and vice versa for the developer or the tester. And if it actually depends on the team, that we need to make sure that we are achieving that particular point, and we can also add a user story for that particular action item, and we can close that user story by the end of that week, if I'm making sense.
Yes, yes,
I,
definitely.
I agree. So best way to handle those sort of action item is to keep things in the backlog, and Scrum Master has to ensure that those action items have been worked on and it has been completed within the whatever time you have.
Any other questions, anyone? Satish, how much time is left out?
We have 45 minutes more now for the next session. 9 o'clock is the next session. 8:15.
For this session, I think another 15 minutes is left out. Right?
Another 15 minutes is there, yes. Till 8:30. Yeah. So any questions or any generic points someone want to discuss?
Yeah. So before someone grabs some questions, right? I just want to share a couple of things. Let me know if once everyone can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone can hear and see my screen, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So usually there is one report published by State of Agile every half yearly or every yearly. They publish this report every year. Sorry. Usually this report is also a little bit useful for the people who want to understand how Agile is implemented across the organizations. Okay. So this is one of the report which is freely available in internet. So you can download it freely, right? I just want to take a couple of minutes to give a gist of it so that you guys can understand how you can utilize this, right? Prathibha, will that be okay? Or you want to share anything from your side?
No, you can share, Sharad.
Okay. So this is how the report looks like. And they cover a number of areas with respect to how the Agile adoption is going across the organizations, across the globe, right? What are the challenges that people are facing? What are the maturity levels? And in terms of scaling Agile, what are the different scaled Agile frameworks that they are, across the organizations people are following? What are the best tools that they are using? And with respect to Devops, how they are implementing, what are the critical areas they are doing? Recently, I think they have introduced this value stream management also. So let's try to go to this, which gives us very good insights, right? And they also mention what are the kind of samples that they are taking in terms of getting this kind of opinion or information from people, right? Here, you can see here, inconsistent. They tell about the survey shows no fewer than 10 barriers to adoption. They are discussing here about the barriers. Suppose you want to, if any XYZ person want to implement Agile in their organization, what are the general barriers that he or she come across, right? Inconsistencies in processes and practices. Probably teams might not be following all, unified processes, because of which they are not able to understand how they are progressing. Probably their maturity levels are not that much tracked, right? And in terms of Agile practices also, each team might be following different set of practices, right? Because of which they might be able to, they are becoming as a blockers, right? Then cultural clashes, which you all know, right? Then organizational resistance to change. This is one of the main factors which everyone is aware or should be aware. Because most of the time when we go across the organizations looking for different projects, right? This is how you see that people inherited resistance. And of course, as a Scrum Master or a coach, you should be aware how to overcome that resistance, right? Those are all separate topics, and we'll cover in the upcoming, our sessions, our SSAG Agile Guru sessions. We'll cover all those areas. But just want to give a gist about this, report. And earlier, Prathibha was sharing how it is implemented, how many are practicing, how many are not practicing, right? Company-wide, it gives some statistics also, right? And in which sector it is widely implemented, right? If you see here, software development, it's predominantly implemented as of today. And then IT, then operations, marketing, security, right? So Agile is not limited to software development alone, right? Which everyone might have understood by now. If everyone don't know, if some people don't know, they have to realize that nowadays, apart from software development, they are implementing it in HR, supply chain, finance, retail, right? Pharma, a lot of areas, but they're implementing in pockets. Like Agile used to make its footprint in early 2000s. Now it is at a different level in software development. Rest of the organizations or domains or sectors also, trying to adapt to these Agile ways of working in their best own ways, right? So if someone says, what is the future of agility? Can I get some good career over there? Can I get some good, opportunity over there? This is what it shows, right? It has wide range of adaptability that can be seen across the industry, right? That is what this report says, right? And in terms of agile adoption, what are the key areas that is helping them to leverage that, right? It says, enhance ability to manage changing priorities, right? That is what Agile is all about. Accelerated software delivery, then set of other parameters, right? That is what you can see, right? This also talks more or less the same. Here it's saying now organization measure of success of Agile transformation. How you ensure that your transformation is successful? First thing is customer satisfaction. How the customers are, appreciating or saying that your product is creating value for them, right? It's all about customer satisfaction through CSAT service, right? Or through, there is one more thing, right? CSAT and Satish, can you recollect any other survey? I forgot that. It's not coming in my brain. But anyways, second thing is business value, right? And how on-time delivery, a lot of other metrics, right? Then with respect to Agile adoption, which we already discussed, challenges, and it also talks about, this one which Prathibha was covering earlier, in terms of adoption, how organizations are adopting across the globe, right? That metrics also it will show. And it talks more about practices. What are the top 5 or top 10 practices or ceremonies that are helping you to achieve your goals, right? The top ceremony is daily stand-up, followed by retrospectives and other events, right? And on the right side, you can see what are the top tools, Agile delivery tools that you can use, followed by the rest of the tools. You can see Kanban board, dashboard, spreadsheet, right? Any other project management tools, right? So it shows about the tool maturity. And in terms of scaled Agile, right? What is the maturity? What organizations are using the best adopted scale framework, right? Here you can see followed by Scrum, DAD, Nexus, and whatever. At least you will come to know these are the scaled frameworks, right? That knowledge will increase, right? So then about tools, what are the top tools that you're using? Jira is in the front place, right? Then digital AI and Azure Devops is also playing a pivotal role. Then Trello, Jira line. Then we have Rally also. I don't know why it's not mentioned here for some reason. But
it's there, Sharat, the fourth one, Broadcom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. My bad. Yeah, it's a fourth one, Broadcom Rally. So in terms of tool, what are the best tools that are used across the industry? You'll get a better, right? And in terms of DevOps initiatives, how many are following, how many are not following, right? What are the best practices in DevOps and how it helps them, right? That also it shows. Earlier in their report, they used to share about the engineering practices also, but I think now they have replaced that with this value stream management. If you look at their old reports, you'll come to know with respect to the engineering practices. So this is one-stop shop where you can showcase to your entire global audience, like, hey, if someone asks like how Agile works, how it makes it footprint in your projects or across the globe, you can refer to this document. Okay. So this is my 2 cents, which I thought of sharing with you as we got some time. Any questions, anyone here?
Sharad, this is Akash. I have one. Hope you
Go
can
ahead.
hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand. See, I'm not able to get the concept of agile DevOps whenever you get into agile coaches, right? And why this DevOps is coming along with agile trainings or agile way of working. So if you
Yeah.
can give some insight, that would.
Yeah, I'll try to make it very simple. See, to execute development or design or testing with respect to a particular product, you need agility over there, right? That is what you and me aware, so that people can try to develop in iterations and try to develop products as faster as possible. We are not saying a waterfall. We used to execute a project in 6 months. You are transferring or transforming to agile will complete in 2 months, 3 months. We're not saying that. We are saying that we'll try to execute things as early as possible, and a comparative to waterfall model and executing this Scrum or Kanban, whatever effective agile model, we are trying to make things much faster. That is one thing. And second thing is increasing our internal abilities, right? Maybe cross-functional capabilities or upskilling as needed, trending, working according to the market trends and all, right? We'll try to improve our capabilities and try to deliver at the earliest. This is what is all about agility. But even though you are working within the time frame and trying to execute things, unless you have a seamless delivery pipeline in place, which is chapter B, right? Devops. Unless you have a seamless pipeline in place, how you should be able to go to market at the earliest? You might be doing some manual deployments or manual things over there, which might not effectively work. Right? So that is how where the DevOps came into picture, right? In terms of ensuring that you have the right tools in place and ensuring that you are implementing that CI/CD and ensuring that your product is reaching out to the market at the earliest. So that is how
Okay.
you connect both Agile and DevOps.
Okay. Thank you, Sharad.
Someone wants to add any points? I think we have Arijit here. He can give maybe a better explanation than that.
No, I think you covered it absolutely brilliantly. Huh? So it's look, at the end of the day, if we are trying to design things and bring in an agile mindset, culture, and all that stuff, the reason why, see, in the classical method, I can't recall who asked this question, but I'll tell you, in the classical method, we had a development team working separately, and then there would be an operations team who will come and maintain that for the next, let's say, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah. So, and in the classical method, you would have followed the ITIL methodology. Yeah. So the operations team would follow, would do the incident management, problem management, change management, etc. And that if it is a major release, then the development teams will come in. But clearly, the operations team would have very less or negligible attachment with the code. So they will manage the users, password resets, maybe do a bit of bug fixing through the third level, etc. Yeah, here what they're saying is that, maybe there will be a operations team which is supporting larger user community. Yeah? But when you're at a development cycle, yeah, let's imagine today you have developed a portion of it and you have a set of users who have started using it. Now, there might be some bugs that is there. Yeah. So that bug again comes back to the development team. So dev and ops, they are working as a part of same team. That's the concept that really has come up with really DevOps. Yeah. If I'm able to explain it in a simple manner. Yeah. And that is where what happens is you will find that your DevOps team is basically who, you will have, let's say, a product manager or a product manager. Yeah. Then there will be a Scrum master. And so a Scrum master is, let's really very close to a project manager, but in a classical project manager, a project manager was looking purely into project timelines, schedule, cost, effort, and all that stuff. Here, the Scrum master is looking into their teams, the working together of teams. Even if they're failing, encouraging them to work in the next cycle, etc. Yeah, there are what is ceremony. Ceremonies is something that you celebrate together, right? So, for example, in the morning, early morning, you'll go and have a 5-minute stand-up meeting. So assume that it's a ceremony. It's coming together, doing a bit of a brainstorming, thinking, who's doing what today. Then there can be several types of ceremonies. Now, with that, there are, let's say, there can be an architect in that team. There can be a few developers, there can be a tester, and then there can be, let's say, a quality analyst. Maybe, there will be some shared resources, like, let's say, a security guy could be a shared resource across the organization, or several Scrum teams, etc. Yeah? But here, they today assume that they are mandated to create, let's say, one screen, just as an example. Yeah. When they were doing a screen, they had delivered something, let's say, last week. Over there, there was an error. So let's say there was a database crash or whatever. Yeah. Now that database crash, in the reality, what happens is, had it been a classical maintenance and operations team separate, then it would have gone to the operations team. The operations team would have created a ticket, logged in, checked, and then they would have come to the third level. Yeah. Here also, maybe there is a ticketing system. So somebody logs in that, because the user does not know that there's a database crash. Yeah. The user knows it's not working. Somebody has analyzed a level 1 or a 1.5 level service desk has analyzed and said, boss, your database ka problem. And then what do? They will then send it. So it was a non-backlog element. Imagine. Yeah. And a sprint works in all backlogs. Yeah. What is a backlog? This is what I am supposed to do, and I will clear my backlog. So this operational work will come and sit as a part of my backlog, right? And then depending upon if it is a priority 1, so let's say the CEO of the organization can't do something, it's priority 1. So this team, the Scrum team, will leave everything and resolve that operational priority 1 as a ticket, because it has an impact on the organization, as example. Yeah, maybe may not be the absolute correct example, but I hope I've been able to give some situation.
Yeah, thank you, Arijit. If I have one more follow-up question to it, but if you want, we can take it up later as well. Just wanted to see. So, in that case, do you think the Agile coaches should understand the DevOps as well? Because if we are talking about improving the process and hitting the market early, so do you think they should be aware of DevOps and their practices?
Okay, I will take it a step backward. I'm almost nearing 50 years of age. Okay?
Arijit, sorry to interrupt you. Just want to make a quick announcement. First of all, thanks Prathibha for the great session. And we got dinner break now. People want to move ahead for dinner can go ahead, and we'll keep these discussions going on. Okay. Okay. Please, Arijit, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So in the classical old days, I come from a COBOL, Kix, DB2 kind of development. Yeah. In those days, development was waterfall. As if you are building a building. Yeah? So you do the entire design, then proofread it, then you do the development, then you do the test, integration test, then you release, and that's how project. Yeah. Over the years, imagine not only conceptually, what has happened in the last, let's say, 20, 30 years is a lot of things have become automated. So let's say, in the last 1990s or 2000 when I started, we used to write, thousands of lines of code in COBOL. Right now, you can't even imagine somebody sitting and writing or even reading 1,000 lines of code, as example. Yeah. Or million of lines of code. Yeah. If you would have extracted a COBOL program, you would have found some million lines of code, right? Today, what has happened? You have become very user friendly. So you are creating storyboards, story points. Yeah. And there are several automation tools that have come in. It is also an era where, earlier you would have heard a lot of expertise is required in topics like C++, algorithms using C++, yeah, data structures, yeah. Right now, even if you don't know C++, there are advanced, let's say, topics like Python and God knows all those snake, Cobra, Shobra, and all that they're coming. But the idea is, I may be wrong with the names, yeah, but they are far more advanced setup. So even if you are not a technical savvy or a engineering guy, you can still write the code because it's very user friendly. You use your logic, right? You can create your own website nowadays. Yeah, earlier you would employ maybe a 10 people team. Yeah? Similarly, the concept of Agile in a development world, it will always help if, at least an understanding of, how the DevOps topics work together with Agile, it will help each other. Now, from a classical, the iteration mode to a DevOps mode, I will tell you, when in my classical waterfall method, we used to work on one project, and that project used to have sub-projects, yeah, sub-deliverables, okay? In an Agile mode, you will have, let's say, releases as example, maybe 4 releases in a quarter or 4 releases in a month or 2 months, etc. Yeah? If you have actually automated the entire life cycle, as example, yeah? Starting from, your build, test, release, deploy, operate, everything. Today, the customer is demanding and saying that you bring multiple releases even per day. Why is that? Imagine your real life scenarios. Let's say a customer like Toyota, Tata Motors, let's be in India. Yeah? They want to implement connected vehicles, right? So you are able to see, let's say, the pressure of the tire as you are driving. Yeah. Now somebody else, a competitor of Tata Motors, builds up something else that, it gives a beep sound. If, let's say, your tire pressure was 30, whatever, if it goes below 28, it gives a beep sound. Now just be imaginative. Yeah, this is not there. Be imaginative. Let's say Toyota has done that. Tata will want to succeed it, as an example, to get into the same marketplace, and they will want the DevOps team to step in and getting into a fast release mode. They will release it, and then they will let's say upgrade it. They will then link it up to your web tool, to your mobile, to God knows, to your watch, everything. Yeah, this is the pace at which people are, releasing softwares. So I think, coming to your straight question, it always helps if there is an Agile guru who understands the DevOps portion. Now remember, the DevOps tool sets may be purely into IT. It doesn't matter. He or she may not understand the intricacies of all ITs. It's not possible because every day things are changing. Yeah, but I think a correlation does help. Yeah? Sorry, it was a straight question and I took a lot of time to answer this.
No, that makes sense, and thank you very much, Arjit, for explaining it very well. Thank you very much. That helps.
Yeah, and thanks, Akash, for bringing up that question. Just to add on the point.
To add one more point. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Yoga, go ahead.
No, it's a very simple thing. As he mentioned earlier, that operation ticket was there. When DevOps team is part of that Agile ceremonies, it is easy to bring up and, easy to resolve. That is one. And second is, as the Agile is also used from DevOps point of view, DevOps team's point of view, to build the pipeline to get better and better. It is not like, we can start everything in one scratch. So because developers are all writing the code and putting it to one thing, DevOps team needs to take it up and, will build it as a path. So when they are as a part, they're also improve, what are the items that you people are continuously working. So I, as a DevOps team, I'll come over there and, I'll automate for you. So, if both are synced together, it'll be a little easier to deliver. So that's what I want to try.
Sure. Thanks, Yoga, for adding the point. So Akash, just to give a couple of more examples, like if we look at the e-commerce, like Amazon, Flipkart, Big Basket, all these companies, so the e-commerce market, they don't go with the release cycles as such. They might be doing multiple deployments to production, making the offers, the deals, the discounts, new items into the production, into the market to us as end users multiple times a day. So that's where having this DevOps and the automation, the full-fledged pipelines will be helpful. And to go back to your previous question, having that technical knowledge as an Agile coach also helps. It's not a mandatory as such, but yes, definitely having that base, having that concepts, context of at least what's going on in how is our CI/CD pipeline going up, and how the release process is happening. And if we start with that, helps a lot. Till now, what's happening is abroad, there are a lot of opportunities coming up for the technical coach. Now, we recently started observing even within India, few product-based companies, they started asking, we want a technical coach who can help the teams with the implementation, starting from the DevOps, CI/CD pipeline, the release process, cadence, and everything. With that perspective, it's definitely having that technical, the DevOps concepts context as an Agile coach also helps.
Okay, thank you, Satish, and thank you, Yoga, for your inputs as well. Thank you very much. That helps.
Okay, thanks everyone, and it's a nice discussion. Let's our next session is scheduled at 9 o'clock. Feel free to take a break, have a dinner, come back, or we will have our breakout rooms open. You can discuss among yourselves and be back by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, thank you. We'll
Thank you.
have dinner and then come back.
Sure. Thank you.